So right now I'm in the full-time private practice. I have my own practice called the PhD Orthodontics. So since I'm a PhD, I'm a more like focusing like scientific the oriented. So that's why I name my office as a PhD Orthodontist and craniofacial specialty. So, and since as an orthodontist, so the first day and even from dental school, I learned is it's a bracket. So I think, so basically everybody know that, so we learn everything from the mini twin bracket, the twin wing bracket, and so there's the twin wing bracket holding the wire inside. And also another evolution of the bracket is a self-ligating bracket. So that's much easier and have a little door open and close. The door could be open and also could be closed to hold the wire inside. So compare two type of system, and so the traditional twin bracket, so there's something, you maybe have some experience. If you have some orthodontic case in your office, maybe you have some experience about this. And it's hard, you have to position bracket accurately, otherwise it's gonna be very hard to finish. So, or when finishing the case, you have to struggle to bending the wire. So as orthodontist, have to spend 3 years in the dental school to learn how to bending wire, how to position bracket accurately. So, so there are lot of the drawback of that. So there are different techniques available in the market to evaluating on that. So we're gonna break down the detail and we're gonna explain. So what would be the solution and we can resolve those problems. So can we make the patient experience more comfort? Can we get a more predictable result? Or can we just save some chair time and save some doctor time? Even though you don't have like a 3-year orthodontic training in the dental school, and maybe you still can use the straight wire to do some more complex case. So you don't need to hire like orthodontist to do the work to do like a wire bending, but you can totally avoid that. So because right now nowadays it's AI age, so everybody talk about AI, everything the computerized. So nobody doing like impression, so everything digitized. We do intraoral scan, 3D printer, 3D printed crown. So everything could be digitized. So why we still need a bending wire? So we don't need a bending wire. We don't even know the wire bending machine. So everything could be planned ahead, just like Invisalign. Invisalign, definitely easier, friendly, but everybody know that Invisalign has its limitation. So so some harder cases, extraction case is harder, expansion is harder. So the closer, achieve the proper root angulation is harder. So let's break down. So let's compare traditional twin bracket and the self-ligating bracket. What would be the difference? And also like a Dremel the system. So what would be the advantage of that? So first, so there will be the discomfort and so inconvenience. So rubber band, and also like they have to more frequent. We have to see the patient every 4 to 6 weeks, almost every month. So and it's you have a twin bracket, and the most common thing, like first thing I have to tell them, you have the sore, poking, wire, bracket poking your lips. The first thing when the bonding brace, I teach them how to use the auto wax. So auto wax should be the first lesson, teach a patient, how to use it. So other than the bracing with the braces, also have to teach them how to, protect their lips and protect their cheeks. So and so that would be the twin bracket always have the little hook there. And also since the twin bracket always have some rubber bands, so study shows like a rubber band have the surface very easy for food and the bacteria to deposit on the two surface. So it's gonna be very hard to clean. So it's gonna lice hygiene. And if you have a patient, if your kids they never brush their teeth, so it always when you take braces out, you have a lot of decay. So that could be caused a lot of decalcification. So can we make the bracket surface much smoother, less decalcification? So what would be the solution to make this easier for patient and to prevent any hygiene problem? So like we can just we can make a more comfort design. So we can make the smoother. This is a traditional twin bracket. It always on the canine bracket always have the little distal wing for the rubber band. It's almost a default design. So 90 even more than 95 use this bracket the system more than a half century. So So then we're evoluting like a self-ligating bracket. So I have the most edges, so they can remove the like elastic hook there and make the mass smaller and less bulky. And it's only metal plastic, not only metal, no plastic. So, and also that could be like the patient could visit less frequent, could be visit every like 2 months or 3 months. So can we make this, this kind of self-ligating bracket even better? So we can even sharper the corners. We don't need to put the rubber band there anymore. So rubber band is not really necessary. So I think we can totally avoid that. So we can just make a smooth, all edges much smoother, more comfort. They don't even need to put any wax there. So you don't need to like put the elastic hook there. If you need a hook, and you can just put the hook anytime later, so until they need to use it. So we can make patients comfort. And also we can make a doctor time easier. So can we like save some, at orthodontist, first day we learn in the dental school, we have to learn how to be efficient. So how can we do like all the doctor visit, each patient's chair times less and the visit less frequent. So maybe like if all the like regular adjustments should be like about the 30 minutes. So, and each procedure, and so when you put like a bracket there, you put the wire, then you at least spend like 15 minutes and put a little rubber band there. So if you do like yourself, you don't have an auto assistant in your office, if you put a single tie on each individual bracket, it's gonna take time. So you have to take the rubber band out, just put the new rubber band on it. And also sometimes you have a really highly rotated tooth there. You might need to use a ligature tie. Ligature tie that can fully engage the tooth in the first night tie wire. So you have to use this kind of stainless steel tie and fully engage and push the wire into the brackets. So if you do that all the tooths like that, the time maybe like can be triple. Like maybe it could be like 20, 30 minutes you can put them there. So, and can we save some chair time? So can we avoid the single tie? And I think passive self-ligating would be another alternative. So when the patient came to the office, so you don't need to remove the rubber band. So you have a self-ligating and the sliding door. The only thing you need to do, just sliding the door, open the door, push the wire in there, and then close the door. So the whole procedure is very quick. So if you need to replace the wire, the whole process won't be longer than 5 minutes. So, but if you don't need to change the wire, leave the same wire there. So you later can see them every 3 months. So done like a single, if you use a rubber band, like a single tie, you have to see them every month, have to replace a different color. And so it's gonna take a lot of chair time. So also another thing for the traditional twin bracket, so it will it's a lot of friction. So the metal will be engaged tightened by the elastic thread, by the elastic tie. So that will cause higher friction. So sometimes when you move the tooth at certain angle, certain position, you have to add extra force there to fighting against the friction. So if you load a lot of heavier force, so the patient has to suffer more pain. And also, they might have a highly chance to have some root resorption. If you have a treatment duration getting longer or heavy force, potentially might cause some root resorption. So I think study always show, always with the light, consistent force and have the more efficient tooth movement can avoid any root resorption during the orthodontic treatment. The solution for that, can metal to metal surface to reduce the friction. So less friction, means less force and give the patients a better experience, could be more comfort and less pain. So, and for the self-ligating bracket, so the contact surface just like a metal to metal. So metal bracket and sliding on the metal, the wire. So the sliding mechanism is more efficient and the less force holding the tooth movement. And the traditional bracket is kind of like a bonding. You can imagine like the rubber band and bonding on the wire. If you use the sliding mechanics there, so this kind of rubber band has caused more friction there. The tooth movement got much slower. If you want to get more predictable tooth movement, you might increase the force. So you have to go to a little bit heavier force. So the self-ligating, and so when you can just like open the door. So most of you can insert a wire, either night-tie wire or sometimes stainless steel wires. And so the friction and it could be much less in the metal to metal sliding, and compare the traditional old tie, the single rubber band. And so another thing, if we can slowly, the tooth have consistent force there and the less friction and the less consistent force can slowly spread the teeth out. So the first type of the passive self-ligating, the leader of this industry is the Damon bracket. So right now, a lot of people like duplicate the Damon system and use their concept to design different type of the bracket. So the Damon system definitely can just they could avoid any potential non-extraction case, kind of more efficiently to make the arch wider and spread the teeth wider. And so the movement of the increased arch all relies on the soft tissue, relies the tongue and other muscle, and could spread out all the teeth in the wider, all the upper and lower teeth and the jaw in the wider position. So, and I think the most difficult part for my first day I learned during my residency, how to bonding bracket accurately. So a lot of if you have experience like bonding bracket on the teeth, I think so how to put the bracket on the right spots. You might have a different gauge. You might do a lot of measurements. You have to check the angle. So you have to it's really hard to accurately to put the bracket on exactly center of the tooth. So even though I'm more than 10 years experience, if I do direct bonding there, I still really hard to get them exactly because sometimes the crown shape not match up. You cannot predict the root position, root angle. So you're only able to put the position at the center of the tooth crown surface, but you don't know where the root will be. So you put each individual bracket, put on the tooth, clean the glue, and then you cure it. So each bracket had to put them there individually. You have to check their position individually. So, and any single bracket is not very accurate on the surface. It's gonna be hard to finish. You don't know where the tooth gonna be. And you don't know where the root gonna be. So you're not able to provide stable occlusion after you straight the tooth. And so if you do the direct bonding, so this is the bonding chart, and you have the first thing, at orthodontic we learn how to position the bracket. So you have to inside the bracket should be the bracket center should be 4.5 millimeter from inside the edges there, and you might need a measurement gauge. So even though you have a measurement gauge, and you use intraoral mirror each bracket from 3 angles to check each bracket, where are they? So how accurate they are, and are they in the right place? Are they follow the long axis of root? Are you able to predict the root, where the root will be? So on another angle on the picture right here, and you can see if you don't have you don't know where the root, it's very easy with debonding the case. When you take the final panel, you see that all the tooth root are touching, just get some touching there. So you see sometimes, especially for the canine, it's really hard to finish at the class 1 canine position. So bracket position is really important. It's really hard to get a very accurate to the direct bonding. So what if we can do indirect bonding? So we can do before we bonding, we can design based on the roots, and we can just provide we can just put the ideal position and transfer the ideal position to the patient's mouth. So this is a demo to show you, and it's an old technique based on the model. So it's only based on the crown and the model, and you have to prepare a lot of lab work and put the bracket on the cast. And after you have to draw the line to put the imaging line about the root, then you make indirect bonding tray. Then you transfer that tray to the patient's mouth. then give like a more predictable the tooth movement. And but there's so many times, for the like a reference line, it's only like an imagination line. You don't know where's the root. So, and same bonding procedure. And this is the indirect bonding tray. And you can just put some like composite, then you transfer to the patient's mouth. And after you light cure it, all the bracket gonna be more accurately stay. And so this is like old techniques, only based on the model and on the crown. So, but you don't know where's the root. So can we do something like more predictable? Can we just a bonding bracket get the root parallelism towards the end? So, and can we just, just like get some CT scan, get some root angle reference line on the real root there. So, and if you have a CBCT in my office, all the patients took the CBCT intraoral scan. After CT scan, and you upload the software, and it's AI created, and it created like the reference line to along the root axis, lung axis. So you can put the reference line here, and so then you can just achieve some root parallelism. Then based on your preference, you can position bracket higher, more close to gingival, or lower, close to incisal. Everything could customizable. To achieve that root parallelism is much easier. So then, and also for like you can check how they bite, how the bracket gonna be. So sometimes they bite in the bracket, so you're gonna know, and you can like add some bite block or bite turbo to prevent that. So 3D printed indirect bonding tray. So that would be the big power of this the Dream Smile system. So everything is computerized, everything like a pre-computerized. So if you have an intraoral scan, you have a CBCT, you can integrate the tooth root position together with the crown. So then you can just computerize just when you design like Invisalign, when you design tooth movement, and you can just, each individual bracket, you can position higher or lower and select a different torque and different angulation. Each certain tooth want to move it, you always can do the different adjustment. So then everything 3D printed. The model could be printed. Indirect bonding tray could be printed. So the evolution of the material, and this type of like indirect bonding tray material, it could be like softened by the heat. So you said the blue color, when you insert the patient's mouth, it's fully warmed in there intraorally, so getting much softer. After cure it, it's very easy to take that out. It's just like same. It could be like as easy as bonding like an Invisalign attachment. And so when you do the direct bonding and put the bracket there, are you able to see your final occlusion? Are you able to predict that, how you're going to finish the case? So how you're going to play your mechanic? If they have the class 2 overbite, class 3 underbite, and how you're going to do that. So it's not only bracket position, you might need you don't know, it's hard to see the final result. So if you do the treatment planning, if you don't have an accurate bracket positioning, so there are a lot of courses to teach you how to do the wire bending. So I think like right now I'm still struggling to bending those wires. You have to do the Z band, the distal root, or like the 3 outer bands, the torquing bands, step up, step down band, mesial out, distal out, and those wire bending. Yeah, I mean I believe it's totally out of date. So we can totally avoid that. So I think we can just use AI-driven the treatment planning and give you more predictable result. And you can virtually see how the occlusion gonna be. Just like Invisalign, you upload cases, and they can do some treatment simulation. You see how the tooth will be. So same thing for the direct bonding tray. Just gradually put the straight wire from lighter wire to heavier wire, nighttime wire to stainless steel wire, and the round wire to rectangular wire. So you can achieve the result very easily. So and this is the same patient, and this is the initial scan, the transfer to the cloud-based treatment planning. And so you can see the initial occlusion. And she had a little bit crowding, but her chief complaint, the protrusion, the teeth can procline too much forward. And so then we can extract the root position based on the CBCT, because now our CBCT is more like popular and it's much safer and less radiation. So, And so then based on the root position, and I can position the bracket. So I like to position bracket higher. I like to build a smile arc. Right now people are focusing aesthetics. They don't want the straight teeth, they want the smile arc. So they want to have more upper incisor show. So you can fully customize what you're gonna do. So this case, so she had to procline the upper and lower incisor. So then you can select a different torque. Torque you have every single bracket fully customizable. So that means you want to change the incisor angle, anterior incisor angle, and want to reduce the protrusive lips. And you can integrate your plan. Sometimes you might need to add a little bit of overcorrection to make the upper tooth more upright. So then you can do the same thing as Invisalign. You can superimpose initial occlusion and also like a final occlusion, so you can see how much tooth movement gonna be. So, and if you want to fully achieve that tooth movement, you can just put a full set of wire. If you don't want to express that too much torque, you can just reduce the less size of wire and have a less tooth movement. So basically, when you're planning at the beginning, you're able to see the final occlusion. So you're able to predict how it's gonna be. More importantly, you want to see the tooth angle, tooth root, and like a buccolingual, like angulation, inclination, and anterior incisor proclination. So everything is more predictable. And it's not available only for orthodontics, it's for general dentists. And you have this power, everything you can just apply that to. If you don't want to put your own recipe there, you can just do the standard version, everything standard, and follow the default, just like when you order, just place an Invisalign tray ordering, everything like technician run the plan. So I'm okay in the final occlusion, everything standard, so everything much easier, is all AI driven. So, and also most important for the aesthetically for orthodontic, more important, and they have more important for the Damon bracket system is called anterior torque. So the Damon only have three set of torque: standard torque, low torque, and high torque. So, and these three torque only have three options. But for the Dream Smile, we have more than 14 torque selection. So you can put you have a different degree depending on your incisor angle, how you're gonna move them. So you can literally change from the -7 degree to like a +15 degree, even 20 degree. And so this is an AI data analysis, so you update everything. So, and all the AI driven to give you a more predictable result. And you're gonna predict to show you all the final occlusion. And also, most importantly, so you have a CT scan, and you can see the root gonna be. So see the root angle, and so the buccolingual proclination. And also, you have a lot of torquing. If you want to put some more recipe for you want to get a certain angle, get the teeth more upright, you have a more selection to change the different angle of each. So from anterior, they have a different torque selection. So you have everything customizable. And so the computer design, AI-driven, much comfort, the bracket design, smoother edges, and the wire, you can choose a different size of wire, how you're gonna express the tooth movement. And also the most powerful, much easier for doctor who haven't had experience for the bonding bracket. So Interact bonding tray gonna make their bonding process much easier, as easy as when you're bonding Invisalign attachment. So at the same, Dream Smile also providing the clear aligner treatment. So they do this, they're kind of using same kind of software base. And to a certain case, maybe the patient requesting to use a clear aligner rather than a metal bracket. So I think a Dream Smile provide that as well, the service as well. So when you upload the case, that is very easy. So I think I can show you here. So I'm gonna use Yang's wife as a case. So Yang's wife, let me tell a story about the Yang's wife. And she had Invisalign treatment before. So, and she had she had overbite, class 2 malocclusion. And let me pause right here. Let me pause here. So. Oops. Okay. So Yang's wife, she had upper first premolar extraction. She had overbite. So she went to Invisalign treatment about over 2 years. So then I can show her X-ray, and after she completed treatment, her teeth look straight, but her tooth roots not a really good angle. But she wore retainer, she wore retainer, she still follow retention protocol. But 2 years later, and the extraction space still open. And when I took the CBCT scan, the tooth angle, you can see how the tooth is tipping there. Only the tooth crown tipping together. The root still not fully touching the parallel position. So that's why when she come over and I took the whole set of record, then I can explain to her, so definitely you need a retreatment. And better at this time, I don't think Invisalign can do more than what they did like 3 years ago. I think like the bracket would be the best option for you. So that's why we took the full set of record. We need the intraoral, extraoral photo, and also intraoral scan, any type of scanner, and they accept the STL file. And if you have a CBCT, that'd be great. You can see how the root is gonna be. If you don't have a CBCT, it's fine. They still can make the indirect bonding tray for you and make a treatment plan. So when you go to like a website, and this is the login, so let me show you the video, and I just should. So then when you go to the main page, you just click the new case. So, and the whole app, upload the case less than 10 minutes. So you put the patient's first name and then last name, you put the gender and the date of birth, other information. And so you can put the chief complaint if you want to, like spacing or deep bite, overjet, something, or it's a class 1 or class 4 occlusion, you want to define that. And skeletally, and some chief complaint like spacing. And or like a deep over by the multiple selection there. So, and you can just leave them there for technician, for AI to detect how they move the tooth. So when you go to the second page, and all the photo, you can upload the photo and intraoral scan. So it's very easy to put them there. When you download, all the photo already downloaded in your computer, and then you can just save them in the folder, computer folder. And so when you're just logging there and dragging all the photo, and just drag them into that little box here, everything gonna be automatically detect. So it's gonna be actual oral and intraoral photo. And based on the internet speed, so sometimes could be faster. So, and based on the upload speed. And most of the time recognizing is really fast. Some of them they couldn't recognize. It's easy. They create a template for you. Then you can drag in the photo in the template as they join at the left side there. So, okay. Okay. So then everything detect there, and they put a frontal occlusion and the lateral occlusion. So you have a system, and most of the assistant or also system, they can do this work. And if you have this, and also if you have the panel and the staff, you also can drag them there. It could be like automatically, and the AI detect, they can upload to their X-ray as well. So you don't need to make selection. So then it will be like a intraoral scan, and also the CBCT. So then you can just select so where you saved out the iTero, that means the STL file. So it's a download from the my iTero, and you have some other intraoral scans. You can zip in the zip file. You can just drag upload them there. This is a little bit slow. I think I can make it faster. So same thing for the CBCT. When you download the CBCT, and the CBCT right now is much safer and less radiation, and the DICOM file gets a size much smaller. So it's very easy to zip, and you can just upload them to the website, and it's really fast. So, and once you complete I try to skip here. So, my internet is not that bad by that time. So, Okay, so once you complete, once you complete all this, all the upload the records, you can design, you can make the treatment planning. So treatment planning, and there's a multiple. So there's a different, you just follow the selection of treatment planning. So you can go there, for example, like a vertical transverse, and so you can want to make some expansion, want to crack the deep overbite, and you want the expansion, how much expansion you want to do, or don't want to do expansion, or the microdown if you don't have a primary teeth, or you want to do some IPR. If you detect some crowding hard to by the result by the expansion, you might need IPR. You can type in some IPR amount. So so in this case, I put for example 0.1. Just sometimes I don't do that too much IPR. I just put a 0.1, 0.2. So just and also additional nodes, and you can play how to achieve close out the spacing, or so she has a very rich reclined incisor to achieve ideal upper incisor angle. So the certain angle, if you want to achieve some your requirement for the technician or AI, and they can select some specific to the bracket out with a different torque for you. So. And so then you have anchorage. So it's mainly for orthodontics. So close the space. You want to a minimal anchorage or maximum anchorage or moderate anchorage. So that's for orthodontic term. And for this part, how you're gonna make the tray? So the tray, indirect bonding tray, the design could be 3 sections on each arch. So yeah, so to go over, I think when you're at the treatment planning on the top, so it's very easy. So you don't have underbite. You don't need to put a jump the bite, no tooth extraction. But for her, she had Invisalign treatment before. She's missing upper 5, number 5, number 12. I just marked them missing. So, and then you can put the high torque, and then you can just high torque. That means the root, upper root move more into the palatal side. So I can show her a panel X-ray and how you're gonna do selection. If you do non-traction, and you can just use default a wire sequence. So they have a different size of wire, a more rectangular or night tie, different material. And you can make, normally I use a default setting, so the wire sequence they provide there. If you want to customize, put your own recipe, and you can just make everything customizable. So the sagittal plane, how you put the incisor angle, and want to move how much movement you want to do, and and just everything, all the number, you can place them there. So then after everything I'm putting there, and and the IPR, and also some other selection, you make sure all the requirement selection, you ought to finish all the requirement, and some additional notes optional, and the tray. So then you click the submit. When you submit it, so it's going to show up on your list right there. So, and it shows you have to be submitted, or it should be in progress. So in progress, that means right here the case submitted. So that means case already in the system. The AI or the technician are gonna work on this case. So, yeah, and okay. So let me show. Give me a second. Let me show her case, and I think I can So, and I think another thing is more predictable for Invisalign. So here's a young wife here, and so she has overbite, and she has a first premolar extraction, and you can see there's some space at the distal upper canine. So, and you see the space relapse of the extraction case. And you see this upper incisor for me is too upright for me. And also she had a deep overbite, about 40%. And her molar is a class 1 molar. You can literally see from here, from crown position, it's kind of meso tipping there. So, and the lower arch, no extraction, the tooth in general is fine. But she doesn't have she had a big midline, not really not centered there. And this is her panel. So yeah, if you take the CT scan, and from this panel, and this is her staff. So for orthodontic point of view, so when you do the extraction, the canine, the upper incisor is like only like crown tipping, too much like a tipping to like a back there. And also when they close the space on the top there, so only the root crown moving, the root not like the crown like moving mesially, no root movement there. So there are no root parallelism there. So only like the crown tipping, same thing for the second molar, all tipping together, upper incisor like a tipping like backward there. So that's why it's a no proper incisor angle to establish after the first treatment. So you can see the panel, the same thing here. So when they move the tooth right here, the first molar, just a tipping mesially. So that's why this is not a stable occlusion. So, and the same thing on the other side, the molar tipping forward. So that's why even though she wore the retainer, and so she still have the space relapse there. And also she still have some developed deep bite and over bite. So, so after the case uploaded, and so the AI-driven gonna make the treatment plan for her. So she had a deep overbite, and so you can see all the bracket position. So how it's gonna be the position there, and so you have a kind of different view, and you can view from the right side, or left side, or front view. Or then you want to play the treatment simulation to answer a question to how to simulate tooth movement. So, and they provide all the wire for you to use. And but you have to every 3 months, 2 or 3 months, and then you can just change the wire. So this one gonna slowly give you simulation how the tooth movement is. So how will be the final occlusion? So this will be you can see from the left side, and you see the right side. So, and more importantly, and so it's mainly for the crown, but I think it's more important. So if we start from here, I think like the peripheral of this, so we can see the crown, we can see the root angle. So the upper incisor too retroclined, too much inward for me. The root should be moved more palatally. And you see the first molar. First molar have the mesial tipping of the crown and the root in the distal position there. So that's why she had a deep overbite, and she doesn't have a very good stable occlusion. And so she had deep curve of speed, and this could be R avoid, and could be improved. So when you run the treatment simulation, and so it could simulate how you're gonna slowly progress the wire from nighttime wire, round wire, to like a rectangular wire and stainless steel wire. So the root could be slowly uprighted. So at meantime, and they give you wire sequence, so you can follow the instruction, and you can just change the wire every 2 months, and so you're less frequent to see the patient. So the same thing, they can do like an overlay. The purple color is the initial tooth position, and then it could simulate how the tooth is gonna move. So basically, that can move the root more palatally, and also the first molar, gonna be more uprighted. So then you can just remove the wire and remove the bracket and remove the reference line. So then this will be your occlusion. And if you don't want to see the overlay superimposition, so you can see the tooth and the roots there. And also, if you want to see don't want to see the root, I'll see the final occlusion. So this will be more the final occlusion, and then you can achieve right there. So, but definitely, so you can just use the wire they provide to you, or you can just if you see the tooth still have a lot of crowding, not fully like rotated, then you can just keep the same wire longer. And I think and also for each bracket, is everything fully customizable. So if for example, for this case, if you want to do like modify the plan, and you can do like change the plan. So if you want to, after the first like Invisalign, they make the plan for you. So this is the initial position, express will be the final position there. So for example, if I feel this tooth right here, I can take the wire out. And if I want to move this tooth want to get the bracket, I want to get a position. I can select the tooth right here. Select the tooth here first. Then I can position bracket higher and position higher. The tooth going to move accordingly. Some specific tools you want to see where going to move, and you can just use like a different tool here, and then you can just simulate how you're going to move each single individual tooth. Or you can just write down your notes, ask the technician, they can do all the adjustment for you. So yeah, that's pretty much like when you're at the beginning. So the powerful of this, so it's mainly because of the root and the root angulation. So, and also to level you got to provide more stable occlusion and give a more predictable result at the very beginning. Yes, okay. So yeah, I think I can continue my presentation, show some cases, and yeah, I think that'll be easier for you to understand. So yeah, I think like during the break session, a lot of good questions asking, how can we use it? How can we utilize? So yeah, I think like for your office, we'll start to choose some like a bracket for your office. So you have to do some selection. So too difficult, like a too big over by, big under by case, maybe you can refer to the orthodontics. And for like most of the 80% of the case, just a class 1 crowding, anterior cross by, some spacing, very easy to fix. For this case here, so it'd be perfect for the your office, like GP office. So, and a little bit crowding of the lower front teeth there, and anterior cross by of the lower lateral incisor, and the V-shaped arches, and the protrusion. So, and the bracket position, so basically, I mean, when you have this case, the perfect ideal for your case. So I think I showed this before already. I have a CBCT, and then you can check based on the root, based on the proclination, then you can just do some torque selection. So then you can just how to position bracket, and then you can just, how to just each bracket. So it could be like how position the tooth, give you the simulation at the very beginning. So, and this is the treatment simulation. So when the treatment start, that could show you how the process. So how to get the, to get a final occlusion like this. So it's to give you some idea. So you just slowly progress the wire. So you can change the unravel crowding and upright incisor, front and upper and lower teeth there. And so that's give you like, final occlusion, the final root position. And so, and also like you can just build up like the central occlusion, and then you can just put like then you see how the tooth can smell, how the tooth and the occlusion over by overjet. And so, and also for not only the crown, and also mainly for the roots. So how to upright the roots and how to expand the posterior. If you follow wire sequence, for about arch wire, for other arch wire could be customized, and it could be like also like follow the standard. If you want to achieve some expansion, just tell the system how much expansion you want to achieve there. So then it can give you a certain arch shape. Then you can just apply it to the patient. And also for the torque selection, that's more important for the orthodontist, for like incisor angulation, and so how to upright the roots and really affect smiling aesthetics. So you want to slowly upright the root and like a root like a uprighting. So that will, and also that will give the that's be more important for orthodontics, and also for the bacolingual, the root inclination. So also could be like predict you can get more expansion, more root uprighting. So so pretty much you can see how the occlusion will be if you just follow the wire sequence. So one limitation for this, so I think like so the thing is you have to know some small concept how to to resolve the crowding. So if you have like an overlap on the front teeth, this is not too severe crowding. So it's very easy to put some wire there. So, but you have a very severe crowding, you might need to put some small like a mechanic, put like open coil spring, push the crowded tooth in a wider position. So, and this is like a root torque. And so you can simulate how the tooth root angle gonna be, so how that will be upright, and that can give you like a torque, treatment planning. So this is the initial bonding. So, and also the upper 3 picture is right after I bound the bracket right there, and I put the first wire. So the first wire is 14 night tie. So this is the treatment simulated, and see how the bracket gonna be. So pretty much exactly 100% could transfer it here and on the 2 surface here. So on the build a smile arc, so my bracket position will be higher. And you see the little bit of crowding. So that's why at the beginning you see the patient every 3 months. So why we see 3 months? Because this night tie wire have a constant force, slowly move the tooth. So the thing is, you only need to put the crimpable stop. Sometimes wire sliding on the bracket, you put the crimpable stop and on each side and the distal of the molar. So that can help to like let the teeth and follow the wire, straight wire, and also got to procline and spread them out. So that's how the wire gonna do. And so this initial bonding and compare the with digital treatment planted there and to how the actual bonding, pretty much very, very accurate. Right? So where you can duplicate that bracket position from computer to the patient's mouth. So yeah, this is the upper arch bonding, and you can bonding second molar to second molar. If you don't want to bond the second molar, you can bonding the first molar is fine. So, and so another thing, the blue stuff here is the biturbo and biblock, because at the very beginning, the bracket position is more ideally to the center of the tooth. So that means initial occlusion, they might directly biting or occluding on those brackets. So if they're occluding that bracket, you need to separate the occlusion. You need to open the bi. So when I put the biturbo, I like to put, I don't want to put the central fossa. I like to put the functional cusp. I like to put the lower sixth buccal cuspid or maybe upper first molar lingual cuspid. So that would be like the lower class 1 case. So this one going to exactly biting the upper central fossa of the first molar. So that's what I do. And also use the blue color that, you can use any type of bonding as long as you know there's something there, can read the bite. So yeah, this is on the side. On another side, the most crowding on the left side there. So you see how much twisted of the wire is there. So if you put in crimpable stop there, you have the actual wire length compared arch there. So that means slowly the wire gonna push all the teeth, procline all the teeth forward. Same thing on the upper there. So upper doesn't have much crowding, so that's why I put the crimpable stop on the distal of the upper canine. So we'll give the protocol some further lecture to how you place a wire there. It's very basic and easy. And so this is the 2-month progress. So it's a simulation by the computer the 2 months later. And the 2 months when she come back, so I didn't see her, and so she doesn't have any emergency. You can tell all the teeth, you see the initial wire how twisted before, and then right now the wire kind of fully getting straight. So that's why you don't, it's a 14 night tie. You don't really need to do any wire changes or rubber band changes, see them every month. So in the 2 months, so slowly, as I mentioned, the wire gonna spread it out and just the proclining, get the teeth straight. Then you go to control the torque by the red angular wire. That's a concept of how to control the tooth angle. So this simulation shows after pretty much accurate there. And so yeah, this is a, okay, sorry. So this is an initial picture and the initial bonding. We transfer the bracket position there, and it's 2 months after. So pretty much surprisingly, once you open the bi, an anterior cross bi is getting fixed. So this is the initial and the simulated finishing. So so that's what we're trying. This is my goal. The 1 year later, 1 year case, so that you can see the final occlusion how that will be. All right, this is Bella, and she's sitting somewhere, and use that model here and smiling to everyone. So, and this kind of she's kind of very common, so crowding, and so anterior crowding, class 1, class 2 tendency, because she still have a lower, a primary molar there. So she had a little bit double row incisor. So I think if you want to use this kind of appliances, and also she will be crossed by on that canine and lateral incisor there. If you use this, you have to, for this case, the crowding, if you put a bracket there, you're not able to engage, put a wire in there. It's too crowded. You might need to still put a spring to push the tooth a little bit wider. So.
Who's the patient, doctor?
So yeah, this is my bonding. So my initial bonding here. So you see the two lateral incisor. So I can engage the upper right side. Oh, oh, she's right there. So yeah, she's this is her teeth. Yeah, she's in braces for like 4 months right now. So yeah, I think like pretty much I put the open collar there. And that tooth almost dragged out there. And yeah, you can see, yeah, we're finishing. Yeah, and you can, yes, check her teeth now. So, okay, thank you. I think you can take seat. Come back later. Yeah, so the only thing is, so because this is so crowded, I try to tie that tooth there. But I think like the thing is that the tooth not able to go out. And she keep playing with that. So it turns out I put the open coil, I put the spring there, and in this one tooth here, lateral teeth straight very quickly. And but another lateral still needs some coil, and so to get some space for that. Yeah, so yeah, to get this is upper. So if you see that at the beginning, you can engage this lateral, but not other lateral. So then you can put the open coil, and that's you might need to do some little bit of mechanic there. So lower, because there's at the beginning engage the wire there, so all the wire can engage all the bracket there. So you don't need to put open coil. Only thing you need to put like a crimpable stop. So so just like a mesial crimpable stop. Yeah, make the wire a little bit longer. And if you see just somewhere at the mesial right there, and leave the wire longer. The twisted wire can slowly spread the lower teeth. The 2 months, the teeth getting straight, and in the 4 months, I can put like a red angular wire there, and waiting for the baby molar come out. And also I need to open the bite. I put like occlusal, bite block on the function lower lingual, lower buccal cuspid. Yeah, this is another class 1 case that would be more ideal and for your office. So, and if you can see this kind of anterior crossbite, that's perfect for your office. You can keep the patient in your office. So I think you can just quote like planning like 12 months or 18 months. So most of the time I see the cases that you can just let them. So okay, 12 to 18 months, you can give the range how you finish that. So because like she's a perfect class 1. Yeah, class 1 relationship there. Anterior crossbite, upper lateral incisor is the most common, the crowding. So that you should keep your office. You don't need to hire orthodontist to do this. So then, initial picture, then kind of to do like a digital setup. And when we do the bonding, because she had the crossbite, this lateral incisor right here. So when you put like a bite block, you separate the anterior occlusion, and then you can directly engage that. Then you can put a crimple spot, leave the actual wire length. Actual wire length spread all the teeth out. That's gonna how to move the tooth right there. So basic initial setup is the bracket position transfer very accurately, and based on that. And so this is an initial bonding and upper, and the initial digital planning there, and that is the lower arch. So the only thing is when you set up the bracket, they give you a notification which tooth is gonna hitting on occlusion. So you might need to add some bite turbo, bite block based on your preference. You can put that anterior or posterior. So as for me, I like put like functional cuspids there. So. And this is pretty much this is the final planted occlusion, getting straight wire. If you reach up to like a red angular wire, remove the wire, there'll be the root angulation there. So you see more important for orthodontists, we want to see where is the root. And so pretty much there's an initial bonding bracket where there will be, and the simulated treatment outcome. So pretty much, you know where you're gonna finish. So you're gonna get a cracked anterior crossbite there and finish in the class 1. So midline, not center at the beginning, you might need to let the kids wear some rubber band there. So this is the 2 months. So I didn't see her 2 months. So that's why when she come back, so she used to have a upper lateral in the crossbite position there. So actual wire length at the beginning, you see the wire all twisted. So if you put a crimpable stop, when twisted wire slowly spread the teeth out. So and the crossbite the teeth slowly cracked it, and also like the most rotation and the automatic cracked it. So the first visit, so you based on you can see them every 3 months, but I like to see them the 2 months. So, but once you go to right angular, you can wire, you can see them less frequently, maybe like 3 months. So, and so this is you can compare the initial occlusion. This is 2 months progress. So just like 2 months there, and you see the teeth almost getting straight. Yeah, sometimes you see the tooth here, the patients are asking, when can I get a braces out? So yeah, but I think like she's still at Milan North Center, and so then so I think like still have to get a little bit leveling. Yeah, and so yeah, this upper occlusion, you see this. So the upper teeth kind of like crooked right there. You put the initial wire, the wire twisted. So when you put the crimpable stop on the first molar there, the actual wire length engaged to the bracket gonna spread all the teeth out. That's how they do by the first initial leveling is by the proclination, keeping the tooth in wider position, then express the torque after. So let me operate the root after. So because the first is light round night-tie wire. So this is the bottom. So the lower kind of same here, and can engage all the tooth there, and the same thing, the concept, crimpable style, leave the actual wire length, and proclining all the teeth. 2 months later, front teeth getting straight. So this system, when you have get to set up the case, approve out the plan. When you come back, they come back to you, you have like a 3D printed model and with indirect bonding tray, and also it's included all the like detailed information of the bracket, and also it's give you all the wire with the crimpable stop, and the customized wire is already in the package. So based on your wire selection. So when you do like for my office, when you have a very skillful assistant in your office, they know how to bonding the Invisalign. They're pretty much the same as bonding Invisalign. So it's a 0 doctor time. You can just let the assistant to prepare that. So you can just choose any like a type of like a composite. I prefer to use a regular auto composite, not a flowable. So you don't need to put that too much, because on the cast and the initial like printed model, they give you some space where you're gonna leave some glue there. So you just put a tiny little bit, make the surface flat, yeah, and then you can just all the tray, and you can leave some like a glue there. And you can pre-paste them there, and you can use the box they provide to you as a dark box. Once the assistant can prepare them there, and you can leave them there, and close the box, use that box as the dark box. So that means when patient come over, you can directly set up bonding. So that the patients there, so any RDA or OA, they can do this, polishing the tooth, and the isolation, same as you're bonding like Invisalign. So you can just like dry it, the etching the tooth surface, yeah, same dry the etching the protocol. Then you rinse it and get everything clear and clean, and then dry it. Then you can put the primer, and so you put the primer on the tooth surface. Then you can use like any plier to holding the tray. It's already with a composite there. Then you can transfer the tray into the patient's mouth. So I can, based on they have by the design, the 3 segment. So you can just snap on the tooth surface here, and you can loading them all together. So, and including 3 all together there at the front. Then same as the Invisalign, you can ask them to biting on the cotton roll, then the pack from the buckle, make sure all attach to the buckle, then just secure them. Then just put like a light cure and cure each bracket there and make them longer. After you fully cure it, sometimes because you're not able to get light really close to bracket there, you might cure it longer than the Invisalign. Invisalign, because you have a clear tray, that directly the light penetrate. But for this, it might take because the color, it might take a little bit longer time, less energy delivery. So once you cure it, then you can take out from the lingual. You can remove it, and you take that out. You see the tray, each like individually have the tooth separated. If you have broken bracket, you can just find the tooth number and take that tray, use that guide, and use that guide to bonding the broken bracket if you have any. So after you take that out, all the brackets stay. And then you can detect if you have any excess. You can use a light and a filter like UV light to see it. So this one, in my opinion, still have a little bit too much glue. We prepared it, so you don't need to put that too much. But definitely you have to be like sticky enough and make sure everything lock in the tooth in the right position there. If you need polishing them, you can do that. And after that, so you're gonna need to build up bite blocks. So this was before I take the cheek retractor. I put the bite block on the occlusal. And then you can open the door. You can use the scaler, or they can provide the tool, a little like a door opener. You can open the gate, and you can insert a wire. So yeah, that's a bonding process, very easy and less doctor time. And and most of the time the system doing that. So I mean, for me, in some case, for example, this case for me as orthodontist, I want to show you, and this is definitely the posterior crossbite. You can see the buccal posterior crossbite and the V-shaped upper arch, mouth breathing. So, and she's a teenager. So for me, I think so this case, if you feel comfortable to use an expander, you can integrate expander and in the treatment. If you don't want to treat this case, and definitely you can, through the networking, you can refer that to orthodontist. So, and for me, if I do the, intraoral scan, you can see the occlusion, the posterior buccal crossbite, and ectopic canine, excess overjet, class 2 malocclusion, and so yeah, then you see how the occlusion is. And so the CT scan, so right now the CT scan, CT scan give you more information. So, and the less radiation, I can measure the archways, and I can measure the airway. So yeah, for this case, she has a really narrow airway. You can see the front lateral ceph, and I can measure the airway. And also you can check the TMJ, and also you can see the condo positioning. You see this airway, you can measure the airway, and also you can, more important for me, I more care about like inter-arch waist. Her upper inter-arch is 10 millimeter narrower than the lower. So, and this is the like coronal section, and I can see like the insider angle. And so this is kind of TMJ analysis. You can see where the candle is. If they have the TMJ or they didn't position correctly, then you have a powerful tool. You can see it. And you have like a check each tooth, individual tooth. You can see how much buccal bone there. So, and you can estimate how much tooth movement. You have the thin bile type or thick bile type, and how much tooth movement you can be there. So you can check each individual tooth there. So, and also for the power for the treatment planning, yeah, I think I mentioned so many times, then you can extract the root and from the CBCT. So this is initial, they duplicate the model, and so let's extract the root position, how the root position is, and then you can integrate when you do the initial treatment planning. So then you want to achieve like U-shaped arch. You do a lot of expansion. You can integrate like expander for this case. So you can set up the bracket positioning, tell the technician I plan to do 10 millimeter expansion by expander. They're gonna integrate that to your virtual treatment planning there. You see how much uprighting of the upper molar. And for orthodontic, I do expander all the time. So that's why I can virtually, simulate expansion and tooth movement at the same time. So, and another good question asking, so are we able to use a wire to expanding the arch? I think yes. So for the Damon system, they're claiming that they can achieve the scattered expansion, but it takes a longer time. So for me, for teenager, I always like to do the orthopedic expansion. I like to use a palatal expander. So that's why more predictable for me. So for adult, yes. So I think but it takes a longer time. So you can use a wire to slowly achieve some scattered expansion. But for this case, do the expansion. I can just I can managing upper incisor angles. And so it can slowly and express upper arch, establish upper arch form. So everything could be integrated. So everything can duplicate this outcome, to in the real patients. So this is okay. Then it's a 3 months result. Initial the occlusion, and so initial bonding. This is a. Okay, no, the 3 months simulation. This is in the real 3 months the treatment. So I complete expansion, slow expansion, I bonding bracelet top and bottom at the same time. So then I put the expander there, and if you feel comfortable with the expander, you can integrate that for your treatment, and everything could be simulated. So. And for the lower arch, there are no expander needed for her in the lower. I don't use a lower expander, just mainly uprighting the tooth. So in the 3 months and some small crowding at the front, it's perfect. I already replace the wire. This is already a rectangular wire there already. So yeah, pretty much. at 3 months, the major crowding and the scattered discrepancy already changed it. So then the next month, I keep the expander there for 3 months, take that out. Then I just leave I could slowly progress wire as they provided. They provide wire up to like 21, 25, different wire sizes. I don't go that high. So yeah, so it's just, everything in the package based on your initial order. So this is another harder case. So, but I strongly recommend this one should go to, orthodontics or it's, and this is a more severe class 2 case, big overbite, big deep bite, so very crowding. So this case is even harder because he had really deep overbite, but initially I said transfer the bonding. I designed anterior biplay, but you see the initial wire twisted. I just want to show you how accurate you can transition the bracket in there, on those there. So, and how the wire twisted. So then it's a kind of like a initial occlusion, initial bonding. Oh, this is 2 months, 2 months progress. And this is the 4 months. 4 months, the wire fully getting straight there. And so all the lower teeth getting red angular wire already. So yeah, this is a 3 months progress and compare the treatment simulated. So I think there's some, this is mainly for orthodontic. For this case, but I think I use the anti-expander and the biplay. And but I just, for the lower crowding, so in the initial bonding is getting leveled in lower teeth here, it's very efficient. And so basically, and to summarize the Dream Smile, the system, so you can just simulate tooth movement, the root, especially where it's going to root be. So the bracket, so I have a different torque selection. So and also much comfort, smoother the edges. So and the customer wire, they have different wire. You can just cook and put their own recipe there. Most important for bonding process, much easier. You use indirect bonding tray as easy as the bonding Invisalign attachment. So for Dream Smile, they also providing clear aligner treatment, and also that could be used for the so for some other adult patient that want braces, they can not option, not alternative. So and just in general, so I think less pain, more comfort, more efficient, less chair time, less doctor time. Patients happy, and as a provider, we're also happy. So what they helped. So that's all my presentation today. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate that. So late, already night.